For this project, I needed to do an illustration that's going to be printed in silver on the front of the folders. So I just want to show you a little bit about how I do that. So I'm currently in Illustrator. I actually prefer to do my inkings as vectors now, especially for letterpress, so I don't have to go through the extra steps of scanning it, vectorizing it, and getting it sort of fine-tuned. Where here I can always edit or remove something if it doesn't work out. So to set it up, the clients wanted a scene of where their wedding venue is combined with a saber arch. So I just found some photos online, and you can see I kind of chunked them together really quickly in Photoshop. And that's just to give me a place to sort of start to get the proportions right. I'll change some things kind of as I'm going. You know, the foliage will probably be a little bit different. But this just sort of makes things a little bit quicker. Since it's based on a real place, it needs to look like that place. So I don't need to be like super creative and creating my own universe here. It's really about fidelity to the original image. So I just took that into Photoshop, and if I have Photoshop open, which it looks like right there, so you can see I actually just have an image pasted in on top of another image, and then I just erased out the parts that I didn't need. I saved that, and then I brought that into Illustrator and put it on a template layer. Now, to create a template layer, all you have to do is double click it, tell it to be a template, and then tell it how far you want to dim the images. So if you hit template, it's going to lock the graphic that you put on it, in this case my sketch, and then it's going to dim the image, and I think I dimmed it to about 35%. Then I take a new layer, and on this layer I'm going to be working on my inking. Now I never ink in black because it's really hard to see over top of the image, so I always pick like a red or an orange or something really obvious, so I'll notice if I missed any areas in the image. And my brush settings are very simple. Right now all it is a calligraphic brush set to size 2 with a pressure variation of 2. And then in these settings, by double clicking, I set it to full accuracy, and I tell it not to edit selected paths. That's because I'm very comfortable inking on the tablet, and I don't want it to like smooth out shapes that I'm trying to draw, because it just kind of takes away your detail and gives you less control. So I have it on high fidelity, a pressure sensitivity of 2 pixels. I usually use a 3-point brush, but because I'm doing the facial details right here, I'm going to do the 2, and then I'll work my way up to the 3 and maybe larger for the background. So I'm going to come back to this layer, and then I'm just going to get quiet for a little bit, and I'm going to do the inking a little bit further as I go here. And you can see it does still kind of edit my path, which I personally am not a fan of, but it's something I'm comfortable, I can deal with it, so I'll edit them further if I need to as I'm going. And what's fabulous about Illustrator is you can just Command Z all the way into eternity. So if you make like a couple odd strokes, you can just sort of work your way back. And now it may look like I'm missing some kind of details here. You have to remember this is really zoomed in because this is only a 5 by 7. So I only need to get sort of suggestions of kind of where I'm trying to go. Like you shouldn't be over focused on like, these really, really minute details. I'm probably going to come back and redo that hand. I don't like how that looks. But for now, I'm just going to let that sort of hang out like that until I can kind of get back into this area. So what it's really going to be is probably about this size visually. So you can see you lose a lot of that really fine information. So it's really just about getting the shapes correct. Hmm. That a second. Okay, so I'm going to kind of stop here and then we'll jump ahead as we get a little further in the image, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of sense of what I'm doing. So I know I'm going to have to change the arm here because I don't want these sabers to be down. I want them to all be in the arch. So I'm going to do some editing, get our other gentleman here. I'm not actually sure what sort of hats or covers they're going to be wearing for this uniform, so I'm actually going to have to confer with a military friend to see which what uniform the gentlemen are going to be wearing at his wedding.